Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining this session. So in the last session, we have learned how to create GKE cluster through the UI with very basic configuration. And now in this session, what we will do, we will learn how to create a GKE cluster with a Cloud Shell with very basic configuration. To do that, we need to activate the Cloud Shell that you can do it from the UI. You can see the option, activate Cloud Shell. Now you can see it's getting deployed. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open in a new tab. I'll have to do, I'll have to use Google Cloud Shell in a different tab. So I'm just going to do it. So behind the scene, what it's going to do, it's going to deploy a Debian-based machine that you can use to utilize a Cloud Shell. Here we go. Now you can see the Cloud Shell is ready here. So like you're working on a UI, you need to select a project on which you want to work. Similarly, on a Cloud Shell, you also need to select the project on which you are going to work. So the command here is gcloud config set project and then the project ID on which you are going to do the work. So in my case, I'm just going to copy my project ID. Here we go. So this is my project ID here. Let's copy and paste over there. Now you can see the Cloud Shell project configuration has been changed and it reflects the project on which I'm going to work. So everything that I'm going to do now, it will be in this project, in the specific project. Now let's create a cluster. To create a cluster, the command is gcloud container cluster. This is the main command line that by which you will interact with the GK cluster. So if you hit tab here, you will see what you can do. You can create a cluster, you can delete cluster, describe it, credential, list, resize, update, upgrade. We will talk about this option later on, but let's focus on some of them now. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create a cluster. So let's create. Now the option that you need to pass here is the cluster name first. So let's give a name to our cluster. I will go with my CMD cluster with a very basic name here. After that, you need to provide the zone. So let's provide a zone for our cluster. So I will use US Central 1B for my this cluster. Here we go. Now for that, you need to provide the number of nodes. So I will go with just number of nodes 1 because it's my testing cluster. It's not my production cluster here. So number of nodes 1 here. And after that, I also want to use a VPC native networking. So I will enable IP alias here. After that, also need a preemptible instance to save some cost, as you have already learned this option from my last video. So I'm also going to create a preemptible. I'm just going to deploy nodes that are preemptible here. Here we go. Now I will hit enter and it will start creating a cluster for me. And here we go. You can also check the information on the UI as well. You can see here creating a cluster my CMD in US Central 1B. And now the current status is cluster is being configured. Now you can also see the same information on the UI as well. So let's just switch to the UI and see what's the current status over there. And you can see the cluster is getting created. Now let's get into this cluster and see what's the current status at the moment. Here we go. Now you can see cluster is being deployed. Similarly, you can see here the status also changed. Cluster is being deployed. Now just let's get back to our Cloud Shell over there. Now it's going to take some time to deploy the cluster. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause this video and we'll get back to you within 5 minutes. Here we go. Now our cluster is ready. What you can do is you can see the cluster from here, or you can also list it. That will list all the cluster in this project. So gcloud container cluster list, and you can see I have only one cluster, my CMD cluster, location, and the IP address, and the machine type that I'm using here. So what we can also do, we can also describe it. That will provide more information about this cluster. So let's describe it. For this option, you need to pass the cluster name and the zone information. So my cluster name is my CMD cluster, and then after that you need to provide the zone in which the cluster exists. So I know my cluster is US Central 1B. Here we go. Now Now you can see the information is quite big. What you can do is you can just do it what you do in Linux. You can tail or head, or you can also use grep. So I'm just going to tail for the first 20 lines. So here we go. You can see the information that are in the first 20 lines here. Now let's try. Now we have created the cluster. We describe the cluster. Now let's delete the cluster. So we see there's one other command that is you can also delete the cluster. So I'm just going to do it. Gcloud container cluster and delete. Now you need to pass the cluster name and the zonal information here as well. So my CMD cluster and the zone name, that is US Central 1B. Here we go. Let's hit enter, and you can see you want to say like my CMD cluster and US Central 1B will be deleted. So yes, I want to delete this cluster. Here we go. Now you can also see the status on the UI as well. That's the cluster is being created. It might take some time, but let's see. It's still not reflected on the UI at the moment. It will take some time, but let's try to refresh it. See the current status. It's still getting deleted. Let's refresh the window. It might take some time. Let's refresh the whole UI to see what's the current status at the moment. Might be my internet is slow, that due to which it's not reflecting. Yeah. Okay, so you can see the cluster is getting deleted here. The status you can see here. There's the exclamation sign over there. Now let's go ahead and see the Cloud Shell status. It's still getting deleted over there. So it will take some time to delete the cluster. So thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day. Bye bye.